Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ngayon, ating sisimulan ang ating serye tungkol sa Book of Daniel. At pag-aaralan po natin yung spiritual significance ng book na ito para makatulong sa ating pananampalataya. Especially ngayon na tayo ay nasa community quarantine. But I pray that these messages at itong serye na ito will help you in your growth in the Word of God and in your spiritual life. Now, we will turn to Daniel chapter 1 at sisimulan po natin ang ating pag-aaral. Daniel chapter 1 verse 1. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. So, kailangan po nating maintindihan that King Jehoiakim ay pang-18. He is the 18th king to rule para pangunahan ang Judah or the southern kingdom. Sapagkat pagkatapos ni Saul, David, and Solomon, after Solomon, the kingdom was divided. Yung kalahati ng kingdom ng Israel, which is Judah, the southern part, ay napunta kay Rehoboam na anak ni Solomon. At yung another part was given to a servant named Jeroboam, the northern part or the Israel part, so 10 tribes doon, and 2 tribes sa southern kingdom. Now, Jehoiakim is the 18th king in line sa southern part or sa southern kingdom. Ngayon yung panahon niya, Nebuchadnezzar, the great king of Babylon, came to Judah to besiege it, to Jerusalem, para ito po ay kunin. Okay? At kamkamin yung mga nandoon. Verse 2. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. Kailangan po nating maintindihan, sa loob ng temple ng Jerusalem, the temple in Jerusalem, ay napakaraming treasures. At ito po yung mga bagay na ito yung kinuha ni Nebuchadnezzar, the vessels of the house of God, carried into the land of Shinar, kung saan siya naghahari, center of Babylon. Now, verse 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs. So, meron siyang pinagkakatiwalaan, pangalan na Ashpenaz, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes. Mga prinsipe. Ngayon, ang utos, ang mandato ng hari na ito na si Nebuchadnezzar ay kunin yung mga prinsipe. Okay? Yung mga matatalino, children in whom was no blemish, verse 4, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So, ang plano niya, kunin niya yung mga matatalino dito mula sa children of Israel, or specifically from Jerusalem, para maging mga alipin and to stand in king's palace para mapasunod niya at to show the splendor and the beauty and the grandeur of the Babylonians. Kasi aaralin nila maging yung lengguwahe, the tongues of the Chaldeans. Verse 5. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. So ang plano niya, for 3 years, they will drink wine, at sila ay kakainin nila yung provision mula sa hari, which is offered unto idols. Now, verse 6, dito papasok yung ating mga main characters na kung saan they will show us the attitude of a real God-fearing Jew. Verse 6, Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Among this, ibig sabihin, marami po sila. Marami yung mga from Judah ay taken captive to study in Babylon, to learn the language of the Chaldeans, to stand in king's palace, at to show the grandeur of the Babylonian kingdom. At ngayon, among lang silang apat. Pero why did the Bible and why did God put emphasis on these four people? Bakit binigyan niya ng emphasis o ba't binigyan niya ng importansya itong apat na ito? Dahil matututunan po natin na yung apat lang na ito, we will stand, na tatayo sa kanilang conviction at maninindigan sa pananampalatayang meron po sila. Verse 7. And whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. Ngayon papalitan ang kanilang mga pangalan. For he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. Now the purpose, para burahin yung layunin kung bakit papalitan ng kanilang pangalan, ay para burahin po kung sino sila dati. Okay? Ngunit mabubura kaya kung sino sila talaga. Okay? Bagat kahit palitan ang pangalan mo, kung sino ka talaga lalabas. Verse 8, but Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Kailangan po nating maintindihan, si Daniel, si Hananiah, si Mishael, saka si Azariah, meron na silang excuse. Meron na silang dahilan para hindi sundin yung law ng Diyos. Meron na silang dahilan para sabihin, malayo na kami doon sa aming homeland. Pwede na kaming gawin ang aming lahat ng gusto namin at kung ano ipagawa nila, susundin lang namin to preserve our lives. Para kami mapanatili, para hindi mamatay. Ngunit si Daniel, he purposed in his heart, long before pa mangyari yon, sa kanyang puso, alam niya kung anong gagawin niya. May paninindigan siya at susundin niya ang kalooban ng Diyos kahit anong mangyari. At ang nangyari nga po dito, papakainin sila ng portion of the king's meat, tapos papainumin sila ng wine or alak para sila ay maging prepared to stand in the presence of the king 3 years later. So itong 3 taon na to ay paghahanda para sa kanila para ma-prepare sila. Ngayon, pag tumayo na sila in the presence of the king, they are prepared at alam nila kung ano isasagot nila. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Hindi. Kasi according to the law, kailangan sundin yung law Old Testament law. Na kahit wala siya doon sa lugar na kung saan siya sinilang, wala siya sa lugar na kung saan nandoon yung lupa ng Diyos, lupain ng mga Hudyo na ibinigay ng Panginoon kay Abraham, kay Isaac at kay Jacob and the whole Israel people. Kahit wala siya doon, he purposed in his heart to obey the Lord. Na sundin ang Panginoon. Ganon din po sa atin. Hindi yan sa lugar, hindi yan kung anong panahon, hindi yan kung anong season. Nasa sa atin yan. Kung susundin natin ang Panginoon at kung gugustuhin nating masunod ang Panginoon sa ating buhay at ang kalooban niya ay makita, regardless of what circumstances. Kahit ano pang circumstansya ang dumating. Kung gusto mong sundin ang Panginoon, susundin mo siya kahit anong mangyari. Verse 9. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. So, si Daniel ay nagkaroon ng favor. Nagkaroon siya ng pabor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, and kasi he purposed in his heart that he will not eat. Hindi siya kakain nung ihahanda nila. The prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sword? Then shall he make me endanger my head to the king. So dahil malapit siya, may pabor na po siya dito sa eunuch na ito. Sinabi niya na lang na, bakit mo ko ipapahamak? Mapupugutan ako ng ulo nito. Okay? Mamamatay ako nito kapag hindi ko sinunod yung utos ng hari. Verse 11. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah. Verse 12. Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat, and water to drink. So instead of the king's meat, instead yung pagkain na ihahanda mula sa hari at yung alak na ihahanda mula sa hari, ang sabi ni Daniel, give us pulse and water. Na kung saan ito yung tumutubo naman sa lupa, which pwede na sabihin gulay. Verse 13, then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So ngayon po, this is the challenge from Daniel. At malakas ang kanyang pananampalataya sa Diyos, na after 10 days, sabi niya, prove mo kami, subukin mo kami 10 araw. At pagkatapos ng 10 araw, tingnan natin kung sinong mas maganda ang pagmumukha, the countenance. Okay? Verse 14. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. So kailangan natin maintindihan, kailangan po nating makuha. Okay? Hindi lang po sila ang mga Hudyo dito. Si Daniel, si Mishael, si Azariah, saka si Hananiah, part lang sila nung mga captives na kinuha from Judah. Pero silang 4 lang ang tumayo. Silang 4 lang na nanindigan. Sila lang ang pumili na hindi kakainin yung inahanda sa kanila. Yung mga iba, they compromise. Maybe because of fear, dahil takot sila, dahil wala. Natatakot sila sa kanilang seguridad na baka kuhanin ng kanilang buhay pag di sila sumunod. But God favored Daniel and his companions. Kita naman natin ganyan ang Panginoon. Just be willing to obey Him. Just be willing to obey Him. Sabi niya dito, verse 16, thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Kita natin? He purposed in his heart, si Daniel, na hindi siya kakain nung ihanda sa kanila. And he purposed in his heart because kilala niya ang Diyos niya eh. Kilala niya ang Panginoon. At dahil po dito, sa pagkakilala niya sa Panginoon, God favored him. Binigyan siya wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Kung saan ito yung hinihingi ng hari na mangyari. Na sila'y magiging matalino para pag sila'y nag-stand in the presence of the king, other nations will be impressed also. The whole kingdom, okay, kasi worldwide empire po ito will be impressed by the language of the Chaldeans. Okay, by these men na kinuwang captives. Verse 18, now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. So dinala na po sila. Okay? Pagkatapos ng 3 taon, dinala na po sila kay Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. Wala silang katulad, wala silang kaparehas. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued even into the first year of King Cyrus. So yun po, maliwanag mula sa Biblia. After 3 years, yung mga nag-compromise, sige, kinain nila kung anong hinanda sa kanila. Ngayon itong sila Daniel, the purpose in his heart, because according to the law, they must not defile themselves with those things, so hindi dapat sila makipamatok doon. Anong ginawa nila? Nag-suggest sila, nagsabi sila na hindi kami po kakain. Kung gusto nyo, bigyan nyo kami ng pulse and water. And what happened? They got favored. At dahil doon, nasunod yung gusto nila, and God blessed them. God blessed them. Ngayon sa ating mga mananampalataya po, turn to 2 Corinthians 6:14. 2 Corinthians 6:14. That was the Old Testament. At pwede tayong matuto doon because all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, truly furnish unto all good works. And all that were written aforetime were written for our learning. Lahat ng mga naisulat dati para sa ating pong pagkatuto. Now, 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14, ang sabi ng Biblia, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?" So, don't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. "And what agreement had the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I'll be their God, and they shall be my people." Mga kapatid, kaya sabi sa verse 17, "Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate." Isa pa, Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. "I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies, a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good, and acceptable, and perfect will of God." Yes, like Daniel, kagaya ni Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, we are in the world today. Pero hindi nangangahulugan na tayo magko-conform, at tayo magko-compromise, at tayo mabubuhay na karnal, na tayo mabubuhay sa kamunduhan. We can be like as them. Ngayon, nasa mundo sila. And they're even on the place of captivity. Nasa they're taken captive, so wala silang magagawa but to obey. Pero nangyari, they want to obey God kahit sila'y captives. Kahit sila'y mga bihag. Kahit sila'y mga alipin. Mas alipin sila ng Diyos. Mas gusto nilang sundin ang Panginoon. Kung nasaan man tayong sitwasyon sa mundo, kahit sa trabaho, kahit sa pagiging estudyante, sa pagiging magulang, hindi nangangahulugan na may pinapagawa sa atin against sa ating pananampalataya, magi-give in na lang tayo. There are options that we can say and we can choose. Kung pwede tayong mag-suggest, like them, do that. Because we are serving not men, but God. Sinusunod natin ang gusto nating luwalatin ng Panginoon, hindi tao. Ngayon, Philippians 2:15 to close on the first part of this series. Philippians chapter 2 verse 15. "That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world." Kaibigan, kapatid sa pananampalataya, we are in the world, but tayo ay hinihikayat to be blameless and harmless. Sons of God in the midst. Nasa gitna tayo ng crooked and perverse nation. But we must shine as lights in the world. Like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Malayo sila doon sa Judah, kung saan sila dati, saan sila nakatira, saan sila lumaki, o kung nasaan ng mga malapit talaga sa Panginoon. Pero hindi nangangahulugan na malayo sila doon, ay lalayo rin sila sa Panginoon. Like you and me. We are in the world, di pa natin kasama ang Panginoon ngayon. Physically, talagang may ka-interact mo. No? In the Word of God, yes. In prayer, yes. Pero yung talagang nakakausap mo na, hindi pa. At maring ngayong lockdown pa, mga mananampalataya, magkakalayo pa tayo ngayon. Pero hindi nangangahulugan tayo magko-compromise. Hindi nangangahulugan, ibebenta natin ating pananampalataya. I hope you are encouraged, and I hope we will stand for the Lord, and we will not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, and we will not be conformed with this world. Stand and fight for the glory of God.